Okay, this video is titled Other Reasons Why Christianity is the White Man's Religion. All right. Now, I'm going to break down the first things that I discovered primarily from the first video. And then I'm going to break down some new additional information about how Christianity was adopted by countries, because there's a lot of misconceptions out there going around about when Christianity was adopted by nations. Okay, so we're going to explain that also. All right, so the first thing I'm going to explain is that the Church of Alexandria, located in Alexandria, Egypt, is where the evangelist Saint Mark established Christianity in Egypt. All right. This was in the year 49 AD. And if you do your history, you'll find that in 49 AD, Egypt was being annexed by the Roman Empire. All right. That means they were at war with the Roman Empire. All right. And they lost control and power of their country. That's what you have to understand. All right. So that's what people don't realize. Christianity wasn't brought forth until the time that Egypt was actually at war with the Romans. And this stems back to 30 BC, when the Greeks actually came into Egypt and went to war with them. But during those times, they had different reigns. The Ptolemaic period occurred, and different reigns occurred, and it led all the way up to Rome actually ruling Egypt. And later, the Arabs ruled over Egypt. But what you have to see is that this is the interesting fact that you have to identify. If ancient Egypt, and Egypt is known as the oldest ancient civilization to ever exist, why would they wait until they were at war to proclaim a religion differentiating from their historical past of religiosity, right? Why would they change their historical context of religious views when they were actually at war with the nation of Rome, right? Why would they do that? The kingdom of Rome. Why would they do that? Okay, it doesn't make sense. They're ancient. You got to think, black people have been on this earth for over 6 to 7 million years. Okay, white people only been here over 6,000 years, or 6,000 years less, right? So with that being said, you should already be able to identify that Egypt would have kept their religion, or they would have already introduced Christianity into Egypt prior to this time, before they even came to go to war with them. If this was a true story and a true prophecy, it wouldn't happen when Egypt was at war. It doesn't make sense. Okay, so this is either a war tactic that they use to impose Christianity on foreign nations before they try to colonize them and conquer them, or it just happened to be something that they was trying to pursue to unify their nations under one religious view, so they didn't have wars transpire in their nations based on different religious views, because we do have that today. So that's one concept you need to understand. The next thing I wanted you to understand was which nation first adopted Christianity. All right, so Armenia was the first nation to adopt Christianity as its official state religion in 301 AD. You see that, right? 301 AD, making it the first nation to do so, led by King Tiridates III and Saint Gregory the Illuminator. This conversion marked a significant shift from paganism, establishing a unique national identity in the Armenian Apostolic Church. All right, so you need to understand that. That's the other thing you need to understand, that was in 301 AD. Now, a lot of people were saying that Christianity originated in Ethiopia. So let's go back and let's see when Ethiopia established its state religion. Ethiopia adopted Christianity as its state religion in the early 4th century, specifically 330 to 340 AD. Now, you have to understand what BC and what AD means. Once you understand that, then you'll understand that from 1 AD up goes up positively, right? And then when you're in BC, you're counting, you're subtracting, okay? When you go AD, you're adding. So you go from 1 and you're adding upward in years. You're adding 1 up in years. And in BC, you're adding downward. You're subtracting downward, right? You're subtracting. All right, so you can go from 10,000 to 9,000 to 8,000 BC to 7,000 BC. You go all the way down, right? till you get up to 1 AD, because they changed, the different rulers changed how things were being orchestrated. All right, so what you need to realize here is that Ethiopia came after Armenia. Okay, so and Armenia is a white nation. We know that. So you can't say that that's a black nation, because we know that black people didn't really live in Armenia. I mean, maybe a few up there, maybe, but they wouldn't have had good, great experience. I'm just gonna be real. All right, so that's something you need to realize. 330 to 340 AD, that's when Ethiopia adopted Christianity. And those are my three valid points. You got Egypt and Alexandria, Egypt, where St. Mark brought Christianity and established Christianity in 49 AD. That's number one. Then you got these two factors exposing that Armenia started Christianity, adopted Christianity as a religion. And then you have Ethiopia adopting Christianity as a religion in 330 to 340 AD. Okay, those are all verified facts that you can verify to identify that Christianity did not start in Ethiopia, and that it is not a black man's religion. It started in Armenia as an adopted faith. It started in Armenia. Okay, so just peep this information, pass it on. You got to pass this information on, because a lot of people don't know this, especially the part about Egypt being at war, because a lot of people are not talking about that. Egypt was at war. They need to tell people that. Okay, you can't just tell people they adopted Christianity in Egypt and it meant something. If it didn't mean anything, if they were at war, it's not the same thing, because ancient Egypt's history, their religious history and their history is so rich that to bring something forth like that and expect people to just converge to it and believe in it and conform to it, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at all. Because like I said, we've been here for over 7 million years. So they've been here for 6,000 years. So that doesn't add up. So think about it. And just get back to me. Post a comment. Let me know what you think.